good, thank you. So, who am I speaking to?
Well, you're speaking to Ashley Maponga.
Hmm?
I am 24 years old. I just turned 24.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a social worker by profession.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a humanitarian. I also love photography. Still learning, but I love photography and filming. And I'm also into girl empowerment and youth development. So that's basically about me.
Talk to me a little bit about your background, your family, I guess. Where did you grow up and how was that?
Okay, so I grew up in Mondoro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rural area outside Harare. And I grew up with my grandmother. My dad passed away when I was 1 year, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom had to leave me for work. So I grew up with my gogo from, I think, about 2 years. And then I did my primary school and secondary school there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to go for A level at a boarding school in Mondoro as well. And then I had to get a scholarship for that. And then I then went to university in 2018, I think. Then I did my social work degree and then graduated last year, and I am here now. Not yet employed, but
That's your life.
yeah.
Congratulations, first of all, for the social degree. How was that? How was that process of getting your degree in terms of social work?
Okay. So firstly, I think I got the degree by chance, if I should say, because
Okay.
I actually didn't know that there was something called social work. But then I grew to love social work because I think it's more of me, the humanitarian side, the community development side, and I'm also into issues of child welfare.
Mm-hmm.
I think my background as an orphan made me want to focus more on that.
Okay.
So it wasn't really hard because I just grew to love the program, and yes.
So you are coming to us from the organization Wanasikana, Wanasi.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's the translation for that in English?
It's the girl child of today.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell me about Wanasikana.
Okay, so basically the organization is about girl empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
So we are focusing on the issues that are affecting the girl child of today. So issues like menstrual poverty, issues like child abuse, sexual violence, psychosocial problems. So we're trying to deal with those challenges that are affecting the girl child of today in young women, to be specific. So that's what we do. So our projects and campaigns are mainly focused on empowering the girl child, young women, into becoming the best versions of themselves.
How did you get? So you did the social work degree.
Yeah.
How did you come across Wanasikana?
It was on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Facebook
I love
last year in July. So I then joined the organization as a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
With no title, just a volunteer. And then they opened up a space for applications for social work positions. I had to apply for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got to be like a social work volunteer as part of Wanasikana. So since then, I've just been working with them up until now.
Okay. So yeah, let me branch out a little bit and say, what do you think, as a young woman living here in Zimbabwe, are the main challenges that you guys face
Young women.
in society as young women?
Okay. So I think there are problems that stem from cultural beliefs as Zimbabweans, some cultural practices that came from way back before we were even born. Issues like child marriages. I think that's one of the most current issues that are being affected by young girls and women. So I think issues like that, sexual violence, especially in tertiary institutions for young women, issues like a violation of our rights, basically just our rights, and our not being given space to participate in leadership positions. So that's what we're fighting for. We want those spaces and our voices to just be heard. So I think those are some of the challenges we're facing.
Okay, so then now let's link it up with Wanasikana and let's get really practical here. What are you guys then doing as Wanasikana to challenge some of these, like you mentioned, child marriages? I just watched your documentary actually on tertiary. I want to talk to you about that one, about lecturers and students and I guess if you ever encountered that, or how a woman or a young girl should encounter that. But I guess the first question is, yeah, what is Monaskana doing then to tackle these issues, as you said?
Okay, so firstly, I think I should mention that Monaskana on us is just a year old,
Okay.
so we were just starting. But then since we started our programs and campaigns, we've been doing campaigns, for example, the Anti-Thigh for a Mark campaign against sexual violence in tertiary institutions, just bringing awareness and trying to expose these things that are happening in tertiary institutions, and also to create space for young women to report these issues, and also to lobby for policy making around sexual violence, because we don't have laws against that in Zimbabwe. So we've been doing campaigns, advocacy campaigns, also against menstrual poverty. We have a project called Shongedza Monaskana. It's just around providing sanitary wear and for young women who can't afford. And also we've also been doing campaigns around, so we have a current one called Musikana Simuka. It's focused on boosting confidence for young girls and women to just participate in spheres of decision making, leadership without fear, and just boosting their self-esteem. So those are some of the projects that we've been working to just empower our young women and the girl child. So yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you for doing this. Thank you that Monaskana is doing this.
Thank you.
Two issues that are in my head right now. Talk to me about the confidence. How do you boost up a young girl's confidence?
Okay, so we figured that a young woman's life is surrounded by systems, the family system, community, we have education. So we're trying to deal with these systems that are around the girl child. We're trying to capacitate families, capacitate communities, so that because these are some of the limitations that are pulling down the girl child. So if we deal with these tiny issues around the girl child, we will have a strong young lady who is capacitated. And we're also doing trainings around self-esteem, power, how we can use power to grow, knowing our rights. So if we empower her with this information, we believe that she can be whatever she wants and do whatever she wants to do.
Okay, so let's take exactly what you've just said, and let's put it in another practical environment, the tertiary one that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and I found it particularly disturbing watching the documentary and hearing all those voices and their stories. So okay, so we have a young girl, 18 years old, come in. She just arrived at university. She's doing her degree, and she gets into an encounter with a lecturer who says, come to my office. I'm gonna, I want to give you results or whatever, but it's not exactly as it is.
Yeah.
And she gets abused. What should she do with that? Like, what's the first thing she should do? So she gets abused. Obviously, she leaves the office in a panic or whatever.
Yeah.
Where should she go first? What should she do?
Okay, so obviously there are systems in the university that give space for people to report to, but then if those are not active, we have our representatives from our organizations in those institutions, so they can go and report there, and then we can assist from there. If we can go to the police, there's a victim-friendly unit at the police, so we will see how we can help from there to up until she gets the assistance she needs. But we have our people in the tertiary institutions, and we'll also work with other organizations to make sure that we have resources enough for us to find assistance for people who are like that, who are going through the same experiences. Right.
Why do you think young women, as they were saying in the stories, why do you think young women don't, even young men as well, we have to mention the men in there, don't go out and seek help, like you've just said? What is the problem there? What are we missing?
I think the main issue is stigma, the labeling that comes after people knowing you've been abused, and I don't think the blame is always given on the perpetrator, but the victims themselves. They are the ones that get blamed for maybe dressing, what they wear, and So I think it's that problem where you don't want people to be blaming you for getting abused, of which it was not your fault. So I think that's mainly the problem. And also, I think I should say that most institutions don't really focus on the issue of sexual harassment. They don't really address it. So you just keep quiet because you know no one is going to help you. So I think that's why we have organizations like Mwanaskana Onasi, Shamwari Mwanaskana coming in to get in between that gap where institutions are not really assisting the girl child. So yes.
How easy is it for me? Let's say I'm that young man at 18 years old and this has happened to me. How where can I get, where can I find Mwanaskana? I mean, how can I call, or what do I...
Okay.
Is it as simple as just going on Facebook and then there's a number there? I mean...
Yes, actually, we are very active on our social media
Okay.
platforms. So if you text us, we respond.
Okay.
There's also a WhatsApp button there, I'm sure.
Okay.
So we respond and we try by all means to help because that's what we are here for. So it's just as easy as going on Facebook or Twitter, searching for Mwanaskana Onasi, and you send us a message and we are here to help. If we don't have the resources that are required at the moment, we work with other organizations to assist you. So we just work with collaborations as well to make sure we bring out the adequate assistance needed.
So the encouragement really is, if you are in that position, if you ever face that position, it's okay to speak up.
It is okay to speak up. It's always okay to speak up because if you keep quiet, we're having more people being victimized because they're keeping quiet. At least if you speak up, you're encouraging the next person to also speak up, and then the perpetrators get the punishment they deserve because they can't keep on going and abusing people because they know we can't speak up. So it's okay to speak up. Yes.
So I've spoken a lot about, obviously, Mwanaskana and the work that you guys are doing. What role can us men play? Like the good guys, the guys that care. Like, what can we do? Like, what can we do? I don't know.
So I think we can get an example for Mwanaskana Onasi itself because it's an organization founded by males. It wasn't founded by females. So that alone only shows that men can be actively involved in processes of advocacy around girl empowerment, advocacy against sexual violence and whatever. So the good guys that are there, they can actually do the same thing, participate in these programs, campaigns, and just encourage their fellow genders to do the same thing. Yeah.
Where do you see Mwanaskana in the next 5 years? If you're still going to be with them, but what do you, or maybe not just Mwanaskana, but also like, where do you see Zimbabwe at in terms of 5 years, in terms of, the empowering of the girl child? Or maybe it's more longer than that. Maybe we need a long-term version.
Not really, because I think that Zimbabweans have been doing so much up until the present time in terms of empowering the girl child. I've heard people complaining that the boy child is being neglected. So I think that all those efforts that are being done, in 5 years, we should have a society where a girl child is protected. She knows that I'm protected and she's respected. She's given spaces that she wants to participate in. And I believe that we're doing a lot. And I have hopes. I have my hopes that we'll be in like a higher place or something where we just have a society with equal opportunities for the girl child and the boy child as well.
Right.
So yeah.
So let me switch the attention back to you now. As you said, a young 24-year-old woman, still with Mwanaskana. What do you want for yourself? Like, where do you see yourself then in the next 5 years? Do you feel yourself continuing with the social work, or do you want to start your own organization? Or do you?
Yes, definitely. And if I would start my own organization, it would focus on the orphan and vulnerable children, not only including the girl child, because I feel like my experiences as a child just gave me this passion to give a better world to children who are like me. So I want them to experience life similarly to those with their parents. So if I am 5 years time, I should have my own organization focusing on that. And then also, I've mentioned that I love photography, so I want to use the same photography, filming, telling stories of the welfare of the child and doing that. So that's where I see myself. Well, including getting a job because I really need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe you're gonna get a job. It's
Thank
gonna
you.
happen.
Thank you.
So what motivates you then? What inspires you every day to continue to be you, to continue to live, I guess, to take each day as it comes?
Okay, I really want to have a good life for myself
Mm-hmm.
and for the people around me, because for me to get where I am today, I was assisted by some people.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do the same things for those who are in positions like where I was. So that push, that drive that I have to see a change in people's lives just motivates me, whether there's money or not. You'd find me volunteering for organizations like Maskana Onasi, because I believe in their vision. I want to do the same thing. So that's what pushes me, just to have a better life for myself and people around me.
I'm gonna take you back to 16 years old, I guess. If you were what advice would you give your 16-year-old self? Are you the same person?
No.
Or do you feel like you've matured to where you are now? Because to me, you're a very confident, strong woman. I wonder if that was the same when you were 16.
No, not
Okay.
even.
Not even close. So then, okay.
Yeah.
So then that helps. Then, so what would you tell then your 16-year-old self
I
today if you could
would-
look her in the mirror?
Okay, I would really help her in becoming more confident in herself, because I really feel like my background suppressed me in terms of dreaming big and knowing what I want to do in life, because I didn't have that exposure. In the rural areas, you don't even have opportunities there. So I would tell her to dream big, continue dreaming big, because dreams come true. And also, I think I was more, I didn't have so much self-esteem, and I would really help her to nurture that self-esteem part of her, so that she can do the things she loves to do. And also to just advise her that your background really doesn't determine your future.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yes, definitely that.
So I guess as we round up, I think you've already mentioned it now anyway, but as you round up, what would be your advice then to I guess girls around Zimbabwe that are, or were in your situation, that are sort of stuck wherever they may be, but with no hope for the future?
Okay.
What would your advice be?
Okay, I believe that whatever situations we are in, there's always a gap for an opportunity, and you just need to be aware of that and make use of that opportunity. I got that, and I believe I used that same opportunity to be where I am today. So it's making use of every opportunity that you get to grow yourself and to develop yourself. So yeah, making use of opportunities as they come.
Making use of opportunities as they come.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that with me.
Thank you. You should have.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
How was it?
You nervous?
Not really.
It was good. You seemed very confident when you were speaking.
Thank
It
you.
was really good, Ashley.
Thank you. How was it?
There were a lot of.
I have a lot of questions.
You have a lot of questions for me?
Both of you?
Okay, cool.
Because, like, you said, could you go to a victimized one? Tumbota and do it on Facebook, yet.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
What
good
am I
question.
supposed to do?
Okay, so
That's a good question.
we go into communities.
Okay.
Tichita this program. So obviously tinosiya numbers edu, and then you get to and so they share phone but yeah. And also you can make use of
They okay, I have a story. I was, I think 7. We were at home. Was he in the circle, and he does something to you, but I didn't tell anyone, even my mom doesn't know. How do you go and tell? Because if you go, they'll be like, you are lying or you wanted it, something like that. So how do you go out saying it? You get the comfort that you need and you get it out there. Because many people on that and they're still walking free and committing other crimes the same way. What's the easiest way to get to you guys?
No, I get you. It's not even easy. But like I said, it's also we mainly focus on advocates and it. But then we work with other organizations. You find this Childline not to focus more on abuse than we do. So it's an issue where pakutofana kuitwa information because you know there's Childline, that contact number where you can call for free. Abuse, they can assist you. They will assist you whether so if you get that information, which is what we're trying to do, it's information raw areas, these things are happening. So if you get that information, at least if you go through, we're also going to schools, you educate young people, if this happens to you. These systems are also in schools. You go and report to school, but then you find that my teachers are going but that's the process.
Can you also assist me with but now I'm
that one is difficult now. It's
because
difficult.
mostly
Issues
you
of
work with proof.
Yeah.
About doctor and all that. But okay, I've been keeping this and I couldn't go out and say it. But it's still affecting me by now. I hate every man that comes. If you touch me the wrong way, it comes back. How can you help someone like
the psychological part we can, but now when it comes to finding justice for you, it's now difficult. But we have systems also for psychological support in that. When we can't, we have organizations like Loud Silence. They are only focusing on mental health, so we refer you to them for free. You don't pay. So we have also systems for that.
Will it be confidential?
Yes, it's confidential because that's one of the principles of like what we do, confidentiality. Yeah. So Tigabul's information you get us arrested, but you don't. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
It was good.